Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. My name's Alice Keeler. I am a math teacher. I've been one-to-one teaching high school math since 2000. And I am here with Tim Brzezinski, who swears to me that I should be teaching with GeoGebra and that it's super easy. And I'm like, I've kind of tinkered in it a little in the far past, and I felt like I a little intimidated. Like, I'm not sure how to teach with this. It's definitely a cool tool. So Tim has promised me that this is easy and he's gonna help me out. So I'm gonna switch over to Tim to introduce himself.
Okay, thank you, Alice. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for coming today. And thank you for having me and hosting this for the next 3 Fridays at this time. I'm excited to show you. And I want everybody out there to know that I don't have an agenda right now, except to show you how GeoGebra is very user-friendly and can be used for teaching and learning in the classroom. If you're watching right now, never used GeoGebra, you heard about it, and all of a sudden you're freaking out because just like Alice and I did with a webinar last week, oh crap, I'm teaching math online now. Help, then GeoGebra is an awesome app. GeoGebra is an awesome resource for you to use. And there's so many ways you could use it that we're not going to be able to do everything even in 3 hours. But the point is, if you're a teacher, you're new to it, you're freaking out because you're teaching online, I'm going to show you, we're going to start with some baby steps you can take to engage your students virtually. And eventually when we're back in the classroom. So if I can get started here. We'll go ahead and rock and roll.
Let me just real quick is
Absolutely.
I'm going to be learning with Tim. So the thing that I want to do is to take it out of full screen mode. I'm not screen sharing, he is. So if you would like to participate with me, first thing to do is to take your screen, take it out of full screen mode, shrink it up a little bit so you can get your web browser side by side with the Zoom window. Yeah.
Exactly.
But Tim, you're fine because you're
okay.
Screen sharing, so it just minimizes it. Anyway, I wish it would have that option. Just Zoom would have participation mode. That would be nice.
Right.
Okay,
so
step one is we go to GeoGebra.org.
GeoGebra.org. Yep. So I'll just type it in here. So GeoGebra.org in your browser.
And then Lisa is hanging around for moral support and to interject as she feels is necessary to go faster, slower, or have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just
Lisa a screen. I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for your help here. So this is GeoGebra's main page. Now, like any kind of app or any kind of whatever, you can make an account.
To get you're almost done. Click the ad.
Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. So I'm going to go into a browser here where I'm not signed in. Most of you, if you do not have a GeoGebra account, you'll see the word sign in up here.
Okay.
So
I'm going to do that, right? I'm going to sign in.
Yeah, let's create an account. If you don't have one, we'll give you a minute or two to do so. It's very easy. We click on.
Yeah, I don't want people to see my email necessarily. I mean.
Yeah, no. So sign in, and then basically you can sign in if you have an account.
Bonus. Click
go
the
ahead
button
and
to continue.
sign in.
What tab is that?
What's that?
Whose is that?
That's me. Oh no, that's not me. No, that's
That was me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So no, go ahead and if you're totally first time, you have to hit create account right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, fastest way is obviously through Google or one of those platforms. If you do it by an email, you just got to go to your email, get a confirmation, whatever. It takes a minute. But you do it through Google, you're done in a second without a password. But I'm going to log in.
I'm making an account, so just keep hanging tight there.
Take your time.
And I am over the age of 14, so I'm going to checkbox that. It doesn't like my password. So I'm doing a new one. Yep, save it. So, and then I need to go to a confirmation email. So hold on.
I always just like to do it through Google because no password. But yeah, either way, it doesn't matter.
Right, so I'm confirming And I am a teacher.
And you don't have to fill out all that information. Even if you tell GeoGebra, even if you were to tell GeoGebra your social security number, they're not going to do anything with it. They don't look at that, you know? So it's like, you don't have to fill out any of that stuff. You say you're a teacher, you don't have to give your birth, don't have to give location. Even if you check, I want to receive newsletters from GeoGebra, they will not spam you. You might get like 1 or 2 emails a year of events and stuff.
Okay.
That's it.
That's
you
good
know?
to know. That's good to know. Okay, so I'm gonna screen share.
Okay, let me stop my share here.
Oh, wait, all panelists.
All right.
Okay, wait, I'm just gonna screen share this and share. Okay, so
There you are.
account
So
and
once, just like Alice, once you're signed in, you will see a letter in the upper right corner that indicates that you're signed in. Otherwise, you'll see the word sign in. All right.
I like this whole purple fractal thing going on.
That's the default. You could change the banner. You could change you could put a picture there if you want. You know, when you go to edit profile, that's, you know, anytime.
So this is definitely a view I've never seen of GeoGebra. So when I normally go just to geogebra.org, it's like I don't even feel like I even know where to. I mean, it says start graphing, but I don't know. I guess it's the same, but it just looks
Right.
weird.
Well, it is. Well, see, go back to that screen right there. Right there. That's the home page right there. If you look on the left, right, go to the word profile.
Yeah.
That's like think of that as your Google Drive for GeoGebra, if that makes sense. Anything that you create, a construction you make, that is your profile. It goes in your profile, and you can hit create and start creating things. We'll do that maybe in a broadcast 2 or something like that. But I want to even go simpler than that. Okay, so
simpler than that. All right. Well, can we just run through what this stuff is on the side? So I've got the home tab.
Yep.
What would I use it for?
The news feed is to keep you notified of people you follow on the platform. GeoGebra has a social media component. By default, you get posts from the GeoGebra team every once in a while, like webinars and things going on like that. But at the same time, you know, that's just, you know, people read it. Some people do, some people don't, you know, that kind of thing. But a lot of what's been going on with everything going on, yeah, you get rid of that. Yeah. So anyway, so that's Facebook group we have, you know, so anybody that I follow here, I get a notification. You see that little bell up there. So if you go to where it says people.
Did you say that it's a Facebook group, or is it just like a Facebook like?
No. This has a theme similar to both Facebook and Twitter, if you will. Right here is the news feed. So I can get notified. Let's say someone I follow posts a resource. I can see that in my news feed. I'll also see that in the little bell up there, that notification bell next to the A. Okay. So if you go to people, for example, right? Go to where it says people on the very far left on the left side.
Oh yeah, people.
Yep. You can follow people. I mean, there's a lot of people on the platform that you could follow. Okay. And a lot of these colleagues, you know, I know on Twitter, like say
this guy.
Yeah, whoever that clown is, you can. I recommend following Steve Phelps, for example. He's right down there. Steve is he's a math ed tech master of everything, right? Marcus Hohenwater, he's GeoGebra's creator and founder, you know. He'll post something once in a while, you know, it's up there. If you scroll up a little bit, Jennifer Silverman's right above me. She helped author a lot of illustrative math curriculum, GeoGebra resources there. You know, so you could follow a few people, right, and go through. If you click on the person themselves, like Diego, so click on Diego right there, for example.
Diego, okay.
Yep. So if you click, it'll take you to their profile page, and you can see some of the things that the resources or activities that he's created. Okay.
All right.
For example,
can I click on one? Which one do you think would be the least intimidating that he has on here?
Oh, I don't know. Take your pick. I mean, I don't know. I know he's a student at Johann Kepler University. Let's say like that. I don't know what that's going to bring you, but
I'm gonna just click on it. Let's see what happens.
Sure. Why not?
Okay, so I've got this rotational sculpture. Oh, that's
so look
fun.
at that.
He took a profile of his face.
And he made a vase out of it. Right? It's pretty cool.
Face. And then he's got a cross section.
And he sent it to a 3D printer, I bet too. Yeah.
Right. We're not getting to this in this 3-part series webinar.
Not today. But just to show you, okay. So just go back, hit the back arrow up top here, top left of your browser.
Back arrow, is that really just the only navigation? What's these dots?
Well, that's add the favorites
Share
copy.
it.
We'll get to that in a bit, but just like in Google, you go back, just hit the back tab, right? You can go there, of
Okay,
course.
there's the 3 lines menu, just like in Google Classroom.
Yep, that's like the menu.
So where would I
Hamburger
go?
menu.
Back to the people?
Let's scroll now to resources.
Okay, we'll go to resources.
I think resources, if you're a teacher like struggling to find resources there, look at that. I love that branching diagram there. So math is the center of everything, right? So go ahead and pick a topic for the heck of it.
Okay, well,
Wheel of
love
Fortune.
statistics.
Okay. So now let's go click on any one of those items you want.
Okay, we'll do correlation.
Okay, so scroll down a little bit. Now, you'll find resources.
And I think that to me is something that's like, I clicked it and I'm like, I don't see, now what do I do? Because there's no more bubbles to click on, but I have to scroll down.
Yep.
Okay, what's this any resource type?
Okay, so that means, so right now there are two types of items you'll see there. One is called an activity. The other is called a book. An activity is a single entity. It's like, it could have a GeoGebra app embedded within with questions and, hey, check this out, explore. But a book is like think of a book is like a collection of activities. Let's scroll to books, just for the heck of it. You'll see a bunch of stuff. Like if you go to Steve Phelps's book, A Geometry Teacher Meets, whatever that is, right? He always makes great stuff. And notice here, this book has chapters. You scroll down, right? And inside each chapter is a GeoGebra activity. So let's look at can you go to the second chapter? Yeah, go there. Correlation coefficient is a slope, say. I have no clue what it looks like, but here, you know, if I'm teaching statistics and I'm teaching something like this, I can actually, I can see what this.
So I guess I didn't realize that you could create an instructional page with GeoGebra. So one of my things like, okay, well, I make it, then how do I get the kids into it? But I can create just basically a whole resource of activities, which obviously is perfect for remote learning right now, where I can
totally
and have some instruction embedded. Am I able to put a video in there?
Heck yeah.
Oh,
Yep. So let's actually, and you can move the points around too. I think you hit the play button there.
Okay. Okay.
You can move A and B around. I think you can move those around and just see.
Yeah. Okay, so what I really love is having students, you know, the 5 E's lesson plan model, right? Engage, explore, explain, extend, evaluate.
Right.
So I'm always looking for, how do I get past, watch this video, do what I just did. Read these instructions and do what I just did. So I'm really digging the interactivity part of this essentially textbook.
Right. Because in most cases, I mean, like in most cases, 99% of cases, watching a video and here, to me, that's monkey see, monkey do. That's passive learning. You know, something like this is active. It engages. You're exploring. You wonder. I'll get like one resource I have here, or you could go in the app and do it. You plot a bunch of points in the plane, right? And you have GeoGebra spit out the correlation coefficient. Instead of telling students, hey kids, when you line them up, R is 1, right? I flip it around and say, you know what? I want you to move the points around and I want you to watch that R value change. I want you to make that number as high as possible and you report back to me what you get. You see, something like that is so simple in GeoGebra. You could totally do that so easily. You know what I mean? But it's a 5-minute discovery and it's an aha moment. And I tell teachers that aha moments don't have to be like a half hour. They can be done in 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah, cool.
So let's go, if I can navigate you back to, if you hit the word GeoGebra again, all right?
I want to invite people who are here in the Zoom to use the chat to ask questions.
And YouTube.
Is the Q&A working? Did I enable that? Do I have to enable it? It says there's no questions, but I'm just pointing out that you could, and I'm also watching the YouTube live stream. So what am I clicking on now?
All right, let's go back to GeoGebra right there. The word GeoGebra, that always takes you back home.
That's pretty standard for most websites, but I don't think a lot of people realize that is when you click on the logo in the upper left, that almost always will take you to whatever the home page is.
Exactly. Right. So now let's actually go, if you look up in search classroom resources.
So Tim, someone is asking, are we going to learn how to create applets or activities? We are doing this as a 3-part series. So yes, we're working up to that.
Partially yes and partially no, because what we're going to do next is we're going to find, let's say, could you type in the word Pythagorean theorem where it says search classroom resources? So one way you could search is doing a search right here. Just type it in. All right. I would like you to go to the Proofs Without Words by Steve Phelps. I love showing this stuff off because talk about concrete. Go to the very first one. This is a book with like 30 items in it, but go to the very first one, Proof Without Words, and just interact with it.
Okay.
Just play. That's all I have students, just play.
And do you have them like do, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Screen sharing or rather screen recording?
You could. I'm not sure how many do it here, but it's totally possible, especially in this day and age. If you know a student wanted to record a screencast of what and verbally explain what they're seeing here, I think is pretty powerful. That's
So
one.
you have students do these applets and understanding that right now a lot of the students are at home. You know, it's not like you're modeling this with them and having a
Right.
class discussion. I mean, obviously you could use a Hangout Meet or a Zoom or whatever to have students have these conversations possibly, but is it just kind of like play, or do you have a way to capture?
Both. See, it's all on what we do with it. So therefore teachers look at this and they think, oh great, how do I use it? Well, now the thing is, like when we teach Pythagorean theorem, a lot of teachers, and again, like they just traditionally write in the board, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And all you have to do with that procedural learning model is put c on a leg and a on hypotenuse. And then we wonder why like 40 or 60% of the class gets that problem wrong, you know? So here, it's like whenever I taught Pythagorean theorem, I always had kids discover it. You know, I used to do with paper a lot, but that takes time. For teachers that have to review it quickly, but they don't want to tell them necessarily, this is an awesome resource where you can foster that quick rediscovery in a matter of 10 minutes or less. So you can still save class time. Now, how many of your viewers out there are just not, now, if you scroll up and down, you'll notice that Steve here, the resource, this beautiful resource Steve has made, right? You know, you might want to add to it. You're thinking, Tim, I like it the way it is, but just like when I look at a Google Doc, I want to be able to copy it and just make it my own and throw my own stuff in there and make it my own personal thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
We can do that here very easily. So what you have to do, if you ever want to copy someone else's GeoGebra work, you know, it's again,
Why is there on the left-hand side 5,000 proof without words?
Because remember, we're inside a book right now, and a book is a collection of individual activities. There's another.
Oh.
There's another. Okay. So I probably should have started with a single activity first, but whatever. So go to the snowman up there, click that. And what do you think we're going to hit to copy this one thing?
All right. So I'm going to copy the activity.
Yeah. Otherwise copy the book. Copy just the activity. Go ahead, click it. And just like in Google, it says copy of. When you copy, go and edit the title. You could change it. Okay. Now look up, go to the text box there. See right there. You can delete that, or you can click on it and edit it. You know,
where would they answer this?
Well, it all depends. Do you as a teacher want your students to answer this digitally, or do you want to do it on paper or discussion? That's up to the teacher. But if you wanted to make a question, let's actually delete that altogether. Hit the trash can up there.
Okay. Trash can.
Okay. Scroll down a little bit and hit add element.
Add element.
Now you can go.
I can. Oh, hey, look at that.
Yep. Go to question.
Video. I can add question.
Yep. And so now you can call it 1 period, put question 1 or something like that. And the question could be, hey, actually, well, I put the question where the word is, where it says question.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, but you could title it, what do you notice? Explain as best you can, you know? And then.
Oh, look, I can do multiple choice.
Yeah, not a big fan of multiple, but for those that do it, great, you know, but I mean, you could, I like to make them open.
Does it self-grade?
No. I mean, the thing is, this is not an LMS. This is just GeoGebra's specialties. It's apps, but you can create activities like within these apps, if you will. I mean, there's other.
Add a Google form to this.
I'm sorry? Google form. You could, if you hit done, actually for a second, I want to show you one more thing. Go back up to the text there. Number 1, no. So scroll down, go to number 1 there. Okay. Edit. Yep.
Edit.
Now click on the A. There's a lot of things here. If you highlight, what do you notice?
Hold on, let me zoom in.
Yep.
Wait, that's a lot.
Well, we could see it okay there. Yeah.
All right,
So
right, I can do
Mm-hmm.
regular rich text,
Sure.
superscript, subscript, all the
you could
normal.
hyperlink.
I can hyperlink.
Sometimes I have students for a hint, click here and I put the hyperlink to another GeoGebra resource I've made, you know, or I found. You could do that. Okay.
What kind of code when it says code? What is that?
I've never used that actually. It could be, I think it could be HTML. See, I don't, like I said, I don't know everything, but I know it could be HTML, but I'm not, I will get back to you by next week.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
If I just do an H2, if anything. Okay, that did not do anything.
All right. I will find out and get to you next week. That I promise.
The code yet.
Yeah. So, but right here,
I can insert a table.
Mhm.
All right, I can insert an image. I can just
and
put,
there's,
oh,
I might say to kids, I might tell kids, use the midpoint tool to plot the midpoint. And so I'll find the midpoint tool so they see it. You know, if I write directions, I can do that, you know? Yeah. And also you could do math type there. If you go to the FX on the left side there,
oh yeah.
you can insert some math there. And just, if for those of you that are watching that know LaTeX math language, you could type it the way you know
Oh, I
LaTeX.
can type LaTeX?
Yeah, so slash SQRT or slash frac. Don't forget the slash.
I did.
No, you forgot the
I did
slash
not.
there.
I have, look at that. There's like
Oh.
two now.
Okay.
Okay, so what's why it put two of them in.
And
I do that, what happens?
All right.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It usually works for me, but it, like I said, but obviously the MN is right there. You know what I mean? It's like up where it's, yeah, try that. Oh no, see the fraction bar is made already. See when you type slash frac, see how it's there?
Oh.
Yeah. So it thinks faster than we do. It's pretty cool, you know?
That'll take a little getting used to because obviously I'm
Yeah.
used to just putting all my LaTeX.
Right.
Not sure that I really want to do LaTeX.
I get it. You know,
You know, if
it's
you're
funny. It's funny how some people say
good,
LaTeX.
I totally see why you would want to.
But yeah, so I mean, but you could give a student, you can answer it, give a student a hint where it says that, but let's hit done for a second, right?
Okay.
If you want to embed a Google form like you asked to, go to add element, and you could add I think it's URL or web, hit web.
Okay.
And then I could take a HTML for Google Slides, it'll appear right in there, you know? So go ahead and embed the way you know.
All right, I'm just gonna go to forms.google.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll grab this one. Okay, grab that link and I put it in here. Obviously this one doesn't, ooh.
Yep.
Oh, how nice is that?
It's nice.
Done.
So you can put the Google form, as Google Slides, you can embed right in here.
Oh, wait,
a lot of things.
Wait, I can embed Google Slides?
I did that. Yeah. Just get a Google Slides. You can embed a whole slides presentation if you want.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find Lisa's Google Slides.
Go for it.
Yes. She makes the best stuff.
Let's see here. It's like the possibilities here are endless. You as a
Thanks,
teacher can
Alice.
copy, right?
Just relax. I want to
That's
embed
cool.
this Google Slides.
Take your time.
Okay, so hold on. I'm going to hit done.
He's very excited to show you.
This is
Um,
we've got 3 weeks to do this. So just, yeah, do that. Chillax back.
We got it.
There you go. All right. I think this is very exciting. So just give me a minute.
You take your time.
Okay, so I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, whoops, I hit done.
Hit done, yeah.
Because you know, if all I have to do is actually just come over here and I click on it and it goes into edit. So it's actually pretty intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna add an element. I'm gonna do this web. Here's my Google Slides.
Or you
Lisa
paste
Hauser for the win. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
This is life-changing. Okay, now, as cool as that is, it's not cool. So I'm gonna try something else.
Well, go
I'm
to
gonna-
publish to web, right? And get the
Yeah,
HTML.
file,
That's better.
publish to the web.
Embed.
And I'm not going to check the checkboxes. I don't want it to automatically.
Right. Let them go through at their own pace.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna publish. I'm gonna copy that.
So the embed code you want, not the link, the embed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what happens if I just go to web?
Isn't that what you just did last time?
No.
Yeah, it doesn't like it. When I did the HTML code, it worked perfectly.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna use file. I'm gonna publish to the web.
Yep.
I'm gonna use the embed, and I'm gonna grab the embed code.
That's what you want. Yep.
Copy button. And I'm gonna add an element. And which one of these would be embed
Web.
code?
Web.
Really?
Yep.
Doesn't look like it.
Try it.
I put the embed code in where it says.
Try it. Hit done.
Okay.
There we go. That's better.
Okay. Okay, so I can create like my math slides. Wow. Read these directions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can get my math slides, I can get my Google form and integrate these basically into a textbook page that
And
goes along with.
We call this an activity or a resource in GeoGebra.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, so basically the point of this moral of the story is that you can take anybody's resource, copy it, edit it to your heart's content and call it your own. Now what it does is it brings you back to Steve's page. So if you want to find your personal one, what you want to do is go back to your profile. Do you remember how to do that?
Yeah, so I'm going to go to my 3 lines. No, I'm going to click on the word GeoGebra.
You got it. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go to the 3 lines and
profile.
It's on my profile. Okay, so if I go, which I wouldn't think that's my activities. All right, so I see then my activity is down here.
Yep, and it's shared with link. So only it's accessible, but to the people to whom you give the link to, like you give the link. So just click on it instead of going there. Just go ahead and just click on the icon there. See how Steve Phelps' name is there. He had the parent resource. Yours is the child, right?
It gives credit. It's good.
Yep, and so therefore that kind of thing. So remember that actually you forgot to delete that other one. You forgot to delete it. That's why it says it.
If when they publish.
Yep.
And can the kids manipulate the triangle without having to download GeoGebra?
Of course. Well, right now you're working in the web-based. You're working in a web-based app, so it's working all online. So there's no downloading going on. But right. So if I'm playing with that on my phone or on a tablet or a computer, if I'm looking at a resource, I just play in the web. There are some cases where I might want to download the app native to my device, but we'll talk about that maybe in another week. But right now this works beautifully. So I can take it and literally play with it. And can I actually demo one thing here?
Sure.
Just to show you one thing. Let me just show you here. If I go to, hang on a second. All right. So if I go back to GeoGebra, I'm logged in as me up here. So what I'm going to do is, let's say I want my kids to discover something about isosceles triangles. I mean, we're probably long past that. So I look up isosceles triangles. I mean, I have a few resources here, but my stuff does go up first. But let's say, I'm going to look at this one right here, and I'll drop this link in the chat so people can access it. All right. Oh, I sent to the panelists. I didn't go to everyone. Hang on. All panelists and attendees. My bad. Here's the link. Okay.
So Tim.
Yeah.
Did this just too fast? Can you just back up?
Absolutely.
What were you doing?
Just I researched something, but just go to the chat and just access that GeoGebra.
Well, I know, but okay. So we weren't trying to follow you how you got there.
Oh, so no, all I did was I searched something.
Okay.
I went up here
in GeoGebra.
Yep.
Okay.
I just typed that. Okay. Whatever I want, I just type in, and then I just click. And I mean, only because I'm logged in as me and I have a lot of resources, my stuff comes up first. But if I did this in a random search, like over here, where I'm not logged in, I'm logged in as somebody else, I type isosceles triangle, you probably see more of something like this here from a lot of different people here. So, but that was it says exercise 5A right there or whatever, something like that. But If you go to that URL I put in the Zoom
so
link,
go to that URL.
Yep.
Hmm?
Let me go there too, because I lost it. There it is. Now, this was a tutorial that I actually wrote for teachers to learn GeoGebra. But at the same time, the thing is, in this tutorial, teachers pick up an idea for discovery learning. Now, in this tutorial, teachers, for example, learn how to use the circle tool and this tool and that. But in doing so, I know we only have so much time, but in doing so, you geometry teachers and those who teach this know that you can make an isosceles triangle. Okay, we'll play in the apps probably.
Wait, hold on, because when I
Yeah.
clicked on the link, it took me out of the Zoom. So
Okay.
I'm now back in the Zoom. So sorry, I was.
No, that's okay.
I need you to back up. So
Sure.
I clicked on the link in the chat, and it took me completely out of the Zoom where I was just looking at this page 1 through 6. Okay, so that's where I'm at. Pick it
Right
up.
here?
Yeah.
Okay. So this resource was written as a tutorial for teachers to learn how to use
So
these
I gotta
tools.
scroll down. I didn't think there was anything below check your answer. Got it.
Right. But see, again, only thing I did is I wrote this for teachers. So the thing is, I can be as a teacher looking for something for my student to engage my kids, right? And again, I'm not gonna, describe step by step what I'm doing, but the thing is, if you go through those directions,
So Tim, I'm gonna
yeah.
assume that this is easy to put into Google Classroom.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But
Can
before,
you just
yep.
do I know we'll get into more Google Classroom and other stuff in the
Yep.
next Friday or the Friday after that, but just without explaining it, can you just show me how quick and easy it is to, I just want to feel like it's quick and easy to put in a Google Classroom. Because
Okay.
if it's not, I'm losing interest quickly.
Fine. So we'll do that. But just before I do that, I just wanted to say, just like you copied Steve Phelps's resource.
Yeah.
I like to copy this one and to differentiate in 2 seconds. You know what? Not every kid needs hold me by the hand steps to make an isosceles triangle, right? So I copy the activity as a teacher and I hit delete for that. I say, you don't need any hints. I want to make it a 10-minute challenge. You figure out how to make an isosceles triangle. So you see, by copying something quickly and wiping out some step-by-step directions, you can differentiate for your higher learners, for kids that need more of a challenge, if you will. While the kids that need more scaffolded support, you can work them right here. And sure, you can delete the YouTube video that I have, whatever like that. So to answer Alice's question, you go up here, you go to share.
Okay, share button. Okay, cool.
And there it is.
All right.
And now watch this. Now, if you haven't done this at all, it'll give you like 1 or 2 questions. It'll say GeoGebra wants to access your Google classes. Can it? You got to hit allow once or twice. You know what I mean? Because they can't access your classes without your permission, of course. So I'm going to choose my class. I'm going to call it sample GeoGebra class 1, which I have. And I could even type the instructions in here right now. Please get started. Okay, kind of like that. And then now coming soon, it's not here yet, but I know Alice and I would talk about this, but he's like the whole save as draft feature is coming. It's just not here yet. But right now, hitting assign will assign it to everybody in classroom. But you know what? As a teacher, I might not want to give every single kid in class the same assignment, right? I want to differentiate this active engagement. So pretty soon you'll see a save as draft option here. And so basically it'll save as draft. You can do the scheduling on your own in classroom, which is what it's made
I find that when I'm like using quizzes or whatever, I love the share to classroom. I think every product should obviously have it. Also a shared, you have to OneNote. That's cool. But like, I just want to get it in there. Like, I know how to use my classroom and I actually like the interface in classroom. I'm comfortable with it. So I like it to just dump in there as a draft. And then I can do my assign to multiple classes.
Exactly.
Certain students.
Save as draft is coming. It's coming. Yep. It is coming.
I like it better. So I'm happy for that.
Yep. And I'll tweet it out once it's there. But now I can open my assignment in Google Classroom. And if you teachers, if those people that are here, see, I go to, here it is. But if any of you want to join my class just to try this out, you can. The only caution I'll give you is that if you're in your school account right now, it probably will block you because of the firewall settings. So if you want to go to a separate window and
let's say for now that they would just jot down the code. So once you go
Yeah.
ahead and go back to the stream by clicking on the title, yeah, and then okay, you have an L in your. We're having an intervention later. You can't have L's in your.
Hey, that was Google. I know I could refresh it. That was Google's fault, not mine.
No, it's not. It is yours because you didn't
I
change it.
could.
So step one, when making a
Okay,
Google
okay.
Classroom, well, step two, right? You make the Google Classroom. You click on the settings cog.
Guilty as charged.
Code until there's no way a kid would screw up typing it in. Those are literally my steps. Okay, so if you guys want to jot that down, that it is an issue because by default, Google Classrooms are private. In terms of you can only exit and enter Google Classrooms that are at your school on the same domain. So because my Google Classrooms that I do for my trainings, and this one obviously is not at your school, most likely your school setting won't let you. Now your apps admin person could change that. There's a button to say that, yeah, you can go use other people's Google Classrooms. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to. So the workaround is just use a personal account. So you log in with any like Gmail or Hotmail. You just have to have it associated with a Google account. I even have some people with AOL. It does work. You'll just have to make sure you're logged
AOL.
in. Wow.
That's still around.
I know.
I know that I do. I have
know.
that use that. So I'm just saying it doesn't matter what email you have. In fact, my other school has that I work with their office. So we obviously don't have Google Apps as part of the whole thing. So anyway, I was able to get that associated with a Google account so I can kind of rock both. So anyway,
I thought you were in here.
let's
Okay.
get out of that. I don't want to focus on.
All right, sure, not a problem. You got it. So another thing that you could do, so there's lots of resources here. So you could find them again, just to summarize, you could find them here through you search in these little branch diagrams. Some people, the visuals, they love that. Now I could tell you, GeoGebra had a team of like 100 something volunteers. They took, I forgot, about a year or so. I was on that volunteer team too, but we actually nominated, we did a big search. Now there's over 1 million resources here. Now, think of this as the YouTube of interactive math activities and resources. When you go to YouTube, right, you find a lot of awesome stuff. You find a lot of stuff, and you find a lot of crap. Well, guess what? The same logic is going to exist here. But as a team, volunteer team, we actually took the time to find out what we felt were the top resources, that criteria. And so in the search algorithm, when you type in words here or go here, that the things that we kind of starred and put like codes for, whatever like that, tags, that those will kind of populate and show up first. And I always made the rule of thumb. It's like I recommended other people's stuff and like I left my stuff alone, the kind of thing. But it's like it was a cool thing because now I can search for anything in on browser. We could try type and say slope, for example. Like, oh my gosh, how do I get my kids to understand slope? You know, there's a lot of different things here. And I know that there's a lot of blue. Blue is my my trademark. But I kind of went overboard when I was teaching my first start with GeoGebra back like 4 or 5 years ago. But the thing is that anywhere you go here, you can find stuff like, I don't know, this is more of an assessment type of item, you know, no, hang on a second. Maybe it's this.
Okay.
No.
How's it do that?
Well, this is something I made as a warm up for my kids like 1 or 2 years ago, but, or whenever I did it. But the thing is like, the fact is we're not going to learn how to create something like this in these 3 weeks. We're going to just take advantage of the fact that this stuff exists, right? And I can integrate it, say, in my classroom, if I will. So I can have kids go here and, oh, shoot, yep, and check my answer. Now, as Alice always strongly recommends, you could take a screenshot of that thing, throw it in a Google Doc. I want you to do 5 or 6 of these, and then submit that Google Doc as evidence of your warm-up. You know, anybody could, and I don't even need Classroom to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so I could just go right here. So very easy. I can give you a link to over hundreds of things like these that I've used in my class. I made these because I was too lazy to use the copy machine, number 1. And number 2, all right, because the thing is, how many of you give out the CUDA worksheets and you make how many different versions, but one kid has all the answers for the kid next door, you know, but here it's all randomized. Granted, there's only 4 possibilities, right? The point is, it's like
these quiz questions.
Yeah.
And randomizes them.
So yeah, GeoGebra in there.
Like a really simple activity, and we're not going to do this today because our focus for today, because we got the 3 weeks.
Right.
Here's my ask is, you know what? I'm going to use Google Class. It's like my default.
Rewind.
We're going to use geography.
Geography.
It is Friday, Tim. It is Friday.
I hear you.
We,
I get it.
We're going to use, like, Alice, we're going to remote teach. Here's GeoGebra. I'm like, cool. So I got whatever my LMS is, and someone wants to know about Schoology. So actually, I do want to answer that question next.
I can show you how to embed.
I want to, like, okay, look, I want to be able to give my students some instruction, some interactivity that goes beyond a worksheet, and I want to be able to assign it with having minimal amount of stress and things that I need to know. That is
Absolutely.
my goal. So later, once this is my feeling. This is what I would want to do. Is I want to just first, like, just see the kids interacting with it and figuring out how GeoGebra even interacts with my online platform to begin with, right?
Exactly.
And then once I do that, then I start thinking about how I can make them for myself. So for those of you who are
I'm looking at the chat too. I see.
Going to get there, but we're doing it over 3 Fridays. So this particular week, my focus is just really the basics that I feel like it's easy for me to give my students an activity tomorrow. So I'm going to give my takeaways right now is that I would create an account on GeoGebra. I would look for not just activities, but a book where maybe somebody has already outlined some instructional materials, has an interactive piece, going to the share button and putting it on Classroom. So that to me feels really easy and not overwhelming, considering I have at least a base knowledge of text things that I normally do, right?
Right.
If you're brand new to Google Classroom and some of these, obviously that would be a larger step. So what about if I was using Schoology or anything else besides Google Classroom? How would I take this book and put it in there?
Well, I wouldn't take now you could do a couple different things. You could actually put the link to the book in there and then you're done if that's all you want. But some teachers, but I don't suggest that. Some teachers like to actually have their whole questions and answers digital. And let's say, Tim, this is cool, but I don't want this crap right here. And I don't want, I just want to embed this part in Schoology or in whatever, or Canvas or whatever LMS I use.
Said embed, but you really mean link, right?
I could link it, but I could also embed it because I know I saw at least one embed question in the chat. So I want to answer that if I can quickly. It'll take 3 minutes. So right here, let's suppose this was a quick sampler, like a lesson where kids discover stuff about slope of perpendicular lines. Oh, 3/5, and what's that slope there? -5/3. Whoops. Oh, by the way, you could full screen. You just got to hit the little square down here. So, I mean, you could actually kind of play around and there you go, But right here, right, I want to take this and embed it in Schoology. So here's what you do. Now, I know that I've getting asked for the embed code. I know the thing is, it might not be obvious. I totally get that, but wherever there's a will, there's always a way. So if you want to embed just this chunk right here, what you do is go to the snowman, all right, the 3 dots in the upper corner, go to where it says details.
Details.
I know that I get it. That's not obvious, but it's there. There's every activity has a details page.
How'd you zoom in so quickly? You just using the Mac?
I just double tap. Yeah. And so right there. Huh? So like right here. So
I don't have that set up, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. So if I go to share, right? If I go to share right here, it's that button right there on the very far right. All right. I go to share. And obviously I could link it to, there's the link. I could actually have Google Plus that doesn't exist anymore, right? But the point is I go to embed.
Well, it does actually.
Oh, does it? I never see it. So
it's complicated. So let's just go now.
All right. So I copy all this code.
Is there a little copy button right there?
Oh yeah, there it is. I could have done that. I hit Apple. Oops, hang on. Yeah, so copy. So I copied the code now.
Piece?
Huh?
Just the little piece that you're embedding?
Yeah, I just copied HTML. Yeah, the little piece. A lot of teachers just want that chunk. They don't want the rest of it. Who wants the video? I just use that as only reason I put the video in is sometimes that once in a while the school Wi-Fi is kind of a little clunky or it's kind of weird. But basically, when I do that, it actually the video at least shows it. It's better than not if I can't interact, but that's rare. So let me go to my courses here and just teachers that use Schoology. This is very familiar to you. So I go to my courses, I'll go to my sample course here, and all I got to do, let me just go to unit 1, say, and then embedding content. And now I go to add materials, file link. And then you teachers in Schoology, this is nothing new. You paste the HTML right there, hit add. And let's say this was a lesson I was building in here. I hit that, and look at that. My slope, the slope resources, it's there in your lesson that you're creating right in Schoology. Okay. Yes, Alice, you are right. It's not easy to find that HTML code, but it is there. Okay.
Cool. So
yeah.
let's just back that up because that's too much for me today.
Okay.
That feels overwhelming. I'm glad to know we can do it. I want to start from the beginning here. Can you go back to the GeoGebra page?
Sure. We're here. Home.
Okay, so we're on the GeoGebra page. And
Yep.
so I'm logged in, I've signed in.
Yep.
I'm going to, at the top, search for whatever it is I'm doing tomorrow. So let's do
Share your screen. Share your
Embed
screen if you want.
Equations.
You want to share your screen? Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Systems of equations, right?
Mm-hmm. I'll do it with you here.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what I get logged in as like a brand new user with not create anything.
Okay. So then you're gonna find an activity that you're like, okay, I might want to use this one. And obviously, it'd be nice if someone had recommended me an activity because.
Yeah, I mean, there's things. I mean, like blue backgrounds are like my signature in a way. Like when I made these for my for students and stuff. So I'll just go here, for example. I mean, granted, I actually have to change this because when I made this, when I did, for students with color blind issues to actually describe lines by color when giving them directions is actually not allowed anymore in terms of being accessible.
Right.
Like reds and greens. So I have to actually work on, I have a few items I made a couple years ago. I forgot when I made this, but that I have to actually rework, if you will, or work out. But so sometimes I did a dash or a solid, made them both black, you know what I mean? So it's distinguishable. But right here, this is more of a formative assessment item, right? Where it's either like, because again, why should I print up CUDA sheets of like 5 of these? If my students can do maybe 4 or 5 to warm up, submit it, you know what I mean? There's no point in doing like 80 of these. It's ridiculous. So let's just test it out. 2/9, so the slope is 2/9. There we go. And then so I can actually well, there it says type the solution. So 4/3 x plus 3. So there we go. Oh, I earned $4 in 3 hours. Blah blah blah. And whoa, where are we? Oh, that looks like it's that. So -9, -9. Okay, great. So type it in. Oh, and there we go. It says correct. So I take a screenshot of that and I can move on. So I might like it. Now this I can take this item and embed it in Schoology or throw the link in OneNote or put it in wherever. That kind of thing. And now let's just put a poll up here. I see. I'll check yes. Oh, I can't vote, it says. Sorry. But there you go. Okay, so you could find something, even if you just give the kids the URL and take a screenshot. There's no one that's twisting your arm and says you have to embed this in your LMS. Teachers, we always get about our LMS. It's not about the LMS. Who cares? It's more about engaging kids, and all they need is a hyperlink. But yeah, that's the. So Alice, just to summarize up, that is more of the resources side of GeoGebra. Next week, I want to get into the apps where we just go into the graphing calculator and, hey, how do I do this and save it?
I want to click on answer live here in the Zoom because I don't know what that does. We're going to find out. So the question is there a way to differentiate or search for books versus individual activities?
Yeah.
Answer live.
Yeah, it's right here. I'll show you.
What does that do when I click answer live? Hold on.
Okay, good.
Zoom question.
Yep.
In Zoom, I'm looking at the Q&A and it has an option that I can answer live or I can type my answer. So I clicked answer live. What does that do?
I don't know. I'm not a Zoom expert, but.
Yes. All right. All right, go ahead. You can answer it then.
All right. So if you want to refine your search, let's say I look for linear equations or something like that. Just type it in. Right up here where it says any resource type in the upper right corner, you can choose activities, which are only single entities, but some teachers like to look for batches of stuff at once, batches of activities at once, and that's where you go to the books. And you choose the books option, and you'll see a lot of, you'll see some items here. John Albright's a great author. I love his work, what I see him create. This is a book he called Linear Equations. We could feature it here. And then look at this. He has one called Slope Guesser. I mean, let's see, reset, more info. I'm not sure what it does, but again, this is this is, I guess that's a 90-degree angle. But we could put it there, and like, what would we estimate it to be? Again, something like that, or make a linear function or whatever, right? So I could fill these in maybe. I honestly have never seen this before, but he's making this based on something from Open Middle, which I love.
Yeah.
Shout out for Robert Kaplinski and the work that he and Annette Johnson are doing. It's awesome. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot you could do with GeoGebra, so just start looking and finding. What I will do is I can give you some resources here.
How many open middle problems are in GeoGebra already?
I don't
know.
know.
A filter for that?
At least, well, I've made at least 15 or 20, but I'll give you the link for it right now. Let me drop it in the chat. People can look at it.
Pre-made open middle problems.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Well, this is something I've been doing with this. It's like,
So before we end though, an activity specifically for 4th, 5th grade.
Sure. Fifth, yeah. So I can just really open middle here. It's kind of like, okay, well, like there's one solution, but you can make problems like here. I love it when they ask, hey, create rectangular prisms whose surface area is whatever. And I give you, there's 2 solutions. And Alice should be proud of me. I actually made a Google sheet to analyze all the possibilities. Made the data. There's 165 different problems in this very one right here. But throwing them in the spreadsheet in GeoGebra, it helped me build it. Actually, it was actually kind of nice. And kids can actually see, see what's, and we'll talk about that more in week 3, that you could actually make nets so easy. It's very easy to do in the apps. But let's answer your question. 4th and 5th grade, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing you can do, I want to highlight here, is if you go to home, scroll down a little bit. Okay. Next week, we're going to actually fill one of these swim lanes with like a lot of activities for elementary, middle, and high school. Like right in the swim lane here, we have all about remote learning and stuff. But if you click on classroom resources right here, the word classroom resources, you got to scroll down just a little bit. Again, for those of you that missed that, I'll do it again. You're at home base here, right? Scroll down to where it says classroom resources and go down a little bit, and you will see, skip the topics. I'm actually asking to kind of push these up a little bit, and they're going to rework these swim lanes in the next couple weeks. But where it says elementary, if you click on it, you can find some pretty cool things for elementary. In fact, I will drop the swim lane link where I am right now. I'll just give it to the people who asked. Where I am right now is that link that's in the Zoom chat right there. Okay. So fractions, for example. I
know you have a lot of other webinars. So now if you go to the news feed, is that showing where your other webinars are?
No, not necessarily. Basically I usually do it on Twitter, and I put it on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. But what I'll do for people that are interested, let me just go to here, let me type it in here. Go here. If you go there, I think I have to update that a little bit, but if you go right there, you'll have, that's my personal stash of stuff, but you will find links to, that's just the Google Slides, but each one of these pictures is a hyperlink, okay, to like a lot of different things classified by whatever, right? But right here for webinar announcements, I would just get your phone and take a picture of that, because whenever I do something with GeoGebra, I always put it on the social media piece. So if you want to take a picture, pick your favorite social media platform. You're more than welcome to do so.
All right, so we have 5 minutes left. I am seeing that we've got all the Q&As completed. So if anybody wants to maybe put into the chat, what is keeping you from doing GeoGebra this upcoming week? I was going to try and do as a poll, but apparently that has to be multiple choice. So
Okay.
in the chat.
Would love to hear. Because we could adjust those concerns next week.
Right, we have someone who raised their hand. And how does that work? I think this whole last
The Q&A.
No, it said somebody raised their hand, but oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know how the hand raising works.
Oh,
I'm gonna learn how to use Zoom. I'm getting there.
Yeah,
If
so
anybody wants to ask their question verbally, I'd be happy to give them mic.
yeah, that would rock.
So Audie says, introducing new platforms to students while everything else is also new seems a bit much. Audie, I totally would agree with that. And if you have not been doing any digital anything this whole time, that this is not the place to start. So I think for me, my focus is assuming that my students are in Google Classroom. And now I am, what are my choices? I can obviously find some worksheets and put them on there, but I'm also looking for maybe just some other things that I can put into a place that I already have.
Can I cut after you finish? Can I just throw one little side bit in there, if that's okay? So one thing I can suggest is that I know there's teachers that are nervous to start, and I understand that. But the one thing here, and where we're going to go next week, if you actually just don't like have an agenda for maybe a day or two, have your kids go to the 9 squares up here. And let's just say go play in the geometry app. Even if they're in algebra, who cares? Or pick one of these two and just go ahead and play, and have the students come back with, say, maybe 3 or 4 things they learned how to do in the GeoGebra graphing calculator or geometry. You'd be surprised what they come up with. You don't have to have all the answers and know everything about GeoGebra before you start using it. With my students, I learned GeoGebra tips and tricks from my kids when I first started using it. And I loved it because I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasted that much time not knowing this. So if we could actually learn from I'm not saying this is you, but if we're more willing to learn from our students, to give them unstructured playtime for a day or two, let us breathe and focus on our kids, those that have kids, you know what I mean? It's like, it's no one's, I think it's just more of it's a learning experience for all of us. The more we play, we learn, a lot of us learn something by just playing around and just having no agenda and, oh, wow, I don't know.
All right,
just a couple thoughts.
Thanks to everybody. I didn't do a super good job of doing this, but my goal was to constrain him to the most basic of things and to not he gets very excited and I love it. It's infectious. And you can do all these other things. And I'm like, I just really want to know what I have and how I can put it into what I already have. And I think you answered that today. I hope everyone agrees with that. And we're going to pick up next week if you want to join us and
love to have you.
go a little further and maybe make some activities, keeping it simple for someone who's never used it before. That's
right.
That's the goal. So,
and even better, just teachers, you don't need to make an activity to give to your kids. I like to ask kids to go to the graphing calculator and graph, maybe do like the art projects, make whatever. All they do is go to the app. You don't need an activity with it. You just go to the graph, make it, you go back to it. So we'll do that next time for sure.
I'm sure. Awesome.
So, yeah.
Any last questions?
Nice.
What about logging in? Do they have to have an account?
Well, if you want to save anything you make, you have to have an account. Yeah.
I'm sorry, the kids.
Oh, the student. No, if your students need GeoGebra accounts, if they want to create a GeoGebra, if they want to actually, here's the thing. If you assign a pre-made activity that you copied into Classroom, then no, they don't need GeoGebra accounts. But if your student, it is. But if you want your students to go to the blank app and but if you want your kids to go to the blank app and just make something and save it, then they need a GeoGebra account. So.
All right. Well, we will be doing this again next week. The format
Same time.
is me trying to get Tim to do this at a slow enough pace that I feel awesome about it. I understand that that's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea, is watching me like make Tim explain this to me. So Tim's got 5 million resources and things, and you could probably just email him, tim@geogebra.org. That cannot be too much of a secret, and he
There
would
it is.
love to help you. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you got it.
a better place to send them than throwing out your email publicly.
You could have them email me as the professional development director. That's what I do. We're helping people left and right. A lot of webinars coming up, a lot of whatever. So yeah, happy to help in any way that I can.
Sign up for these webinars.
Right here. If you go to GeoGebra's main page, I'll drop the link in really quickly. It's right here. We always put look for the. We'll have a place. We'll put it on the. We'll feature it on the wall. Sorry. You can look for it on GeoGebra Twitter. They put it on their Facebook page too. But right here, the news feed could be a place, or just go to their Facebook page or their Twitter. If there's a webinar coming, they will tweet it and retweet
You
it.
have a Facebook group that you actively
Yes.
participate in.
Yep. It's
Just
called.
put you on the spot. We're obviously done. It's
Yeah.
an hour and 1 minute. But if you would be able to direct people to the
Sure.
Facebook group, like if they post in there, you'll respond, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not just me. It's like I think Steve Phelps is a moderator too. But basically, let me go to teachers using GeoGebra again. The only reason why the word
Space using space GeoGebra.
yeah. Let me just give you the URL. It's easier in the chat.
Yeah, that's good.
Go up there and then chat. So
Humor me on that.
please take the time to answer the questions. It's funny. So many people, they don't see all the questions, and I agree. You know, again, this is not a place of self-promotion. This is a place of just like teachers ask questions and, oh, hey, I have something that could help you. Look at that. You know, it's just, we're here to share our experiences of engaging kids with teaching GeoGebra. That's what the purpose of this group. It's like a group for educators who want to use GeoGebra more. We have beginners, some people that are more experts. And so you're welcome to join. Just fill out those quick questions and yeah, you're in and post away.
So, all right, awesome. So any last questions? Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and end this. All right, guys, thanks for coming. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Letting me use all your stuff.
You got it. Anytime.
Bye,
All right.
guys.
Next
See you next week. See you next week. 11.